Hello.
Hello, hold on. Okay, yeah, there was a pop-up of recording starting.
All right, so it is July 2nd. Neptune has just gone retrograde, and you're going to guide us through a beautiful meditation.
Yes, just a short meditation to center and to feng shui some things in our surroundings.
Okay, so join us in closing down in the eyelids, softening the belly.
Yes, taking a deep breath in. Exhale, 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 exhale. All the worries, all the fears, everything that is stuck within us. You can move slightly with your shoulders or your hips, whatever feels aligned, whatever feels good. The neck, the head. My neck is cracking. Um, Take another deep breath in and exhale. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And imagine yourself standing at the front door of your home. The door goes open. You step in. You feel how it feels to walk to your living room. And now you are in the living room. You close the door behind you. And you take a couple of steps to be in the middle of the room. You look around. You take the energy in. How does it smell? How does it feel on your skin? How does it feel in your heart to be there in your living room? How much life is there in the living room? You look around and you can stay there and just make a little circle on your axis to look around, or you can take a little journey through your living room. You can touch things, you can just look at them. What sounds do they make? What sounds are there present in your living room? Is there music? Is there noise? Everything that you can sense with your senses. How does it feel to the touch? How do the colors, the textures make you feel? Take another deep breath and exhale and exhale and exhale and exhale. And let all these energies work on you, inform you. And you feel if there's something off in your living room. And that thing, you can decide now. What is it that it irritates you, that it makes you feel uncomfortable? Or just maybe out of place? Maybe it's not the thing, maybe it's just how it is positioned. And you can play with the idea to take it away, to remove it, to reposition, to hide, to give away. And feel it. How will your living room feel with that adjustment? And welcome to your upgraded room. And welcome back.
Oh my gosh, that was lovely. Thank you.
Welcome. Did you find something?
I found a couple things. So, the number one, I walked into my living room and I was immediately in front of my coffee table. And this coffee table, it's nice, but it doesn't quite fit inside of the room. It's the wrong height for the sofa. The sofa is like a Scandinavian low profile sofa. And I feel like it's clunky and it's restricting flow in the house. And I remember the day that I bought that coffee table and reconnecting with that energy of the day that I purchased it. I was just in a place of like a rush and I wanted to get my house together and I really just wanted to feel like my living room was complete and that coffee table was a missing part of it. And I didn't want to go to other stores. I didn't want to look anywhere else. I didn't want to be patient. I didn't want to wait. So it was an impulsive buy. And the energy of that impulsive buy has been following me for 5 years now. And I kind of felt like I stood beside myself in front of that coffee table and just reconnected with those parts of myself that have felt impulsive at a time where I just really wanted to create safety, where I really just wanted to make the appearances look like everything was complete. And I just held a lot of patience for myself in that moment. And I was like, are you ready to let go of that pattern? Because you're never going to do that again. And I was like, I'd rather sit in my living room without that table than to rush into another, you know, purchase because I felt like I had to settle a frustration that I wanted to overcome.
My goodness, I'm getting tears in my eyes. I don't know if you can see it was like, oh my God, that's such a simple practice, right? And brings so much insight and so simple.
Oh,
And I
it's
love how you go so deep and how you gather all those stories that are hung on it and how beautiful you tell.
oh. The other thing too, I was thinking, and it's just so beautiful to do this type of work as Neptune is retrograding. And as Neptune has just started to retrograde today on July the 2nd, being one of those very important outer planets, we feel it. And in astrology, Neptune are the eyes, they're the window into the soul. So it's very much our ability to go and have one foot inside of ourselves and one foot on the outside. And that's being able to bounce between the worlds, right? And that's why, like, Neptune is so associated with things about illusions, but also about being safe in your own intuition. And your intuition is your home. It's how you feel vibrations in this world and how you can learn, wildly learn about self-trust and your journey towards growth, right? And, Neptune teaches us, like, are those windows clean or are they not, or are they so clean and so clear that you can see beyond. And in the spiritual world, birds teach us that, right? Because birds are always flying up against the windows. And these are, teachings right from Stephen Forrest. And it's just like, it's so beautiful that the synchronicity of it is all right there. We don't even have to really try to search for synchronicity anymore. It's just always available.
And listening to you, and I'm thinking, Neptune is the water planet. And
Yeah.
yet the way you tell, it feels so much air in there. And that brings me to Feng Shui, where it's all the flow and all the water and the air and how we move and how the energy moves. And it's like to do that, it was unplanned. It just popped in my mind, but it's so in line with Neptune going retrograde and us going inside and feeling all that,
Yeah.
letting ourselves to feel our surroundings and all the influences that we are receiving from our surroundings.
Exactly, because our homes, our physical homes, are a direct representation of what's going on up here, right? So if there's a lot of clutter in our space, there's a lot of clutter in the mind. And that's why feng shui is so principled on balance, because the balance you create in your external world, by incorporating elements of nature and minimalism and, following the laws of nature, the bed is pointed towards the sun, and there's certain materials and things that you don't put, and you're following the elements and you're bringing the elements inside of your home. You're also reminded that you yourself are a piece of that nature. You're an extension of the beauty of nature. And this retrograde is like, hey, step into that, step into the wild possibility that you are so synced up and your life is this big adventure. And it's not like being Delulu, but it's like, hey, no, actually, I am the universe and you are the universe and we are the universe together.
Lulu. If that helps, because like sometimes we are so afraid to be the Lulu or be called the Lulu or to show up as the Lulu. Be the Lulu if that will help you to feel into the stuff,
Yeah.
because like things feng shui, some of us will say, okay, yeah, that's all the Lulu and all like bullshit. So just dive into that as if it was not a bullshit, as if it was for real.
It is. I've been saying this. Don't call spirituality woo-woo. Don't call it delulu, because it's the same thing like when psychotherapy and the study of psychology started to become something that, that school of thought with like Freud and Jung started to pick up, right? And the study of the unconscious mind. It's like everybody denounced that. Everybody had an opinion against it. They're like, oh yeah, I don't know who I am. Ha ha ha. Nobody was talking about the subconscious self. Nobody was talking about the collective unconscious. Nobody was talking about dreams as if, there was validity and messages behind our dreams. And there's so much meaning in our dreams and our dream world. And there was a time where all of that was just like nonsense. Now we accept it, right? Now we are in a generation where it's like, yeah, of course, there's a unconscious world. It's accepted. Now it's a fact. And that was just at the turn of the century. We're talking around World War II. And now where we are now in 2024, we're having another one of these like kind of like psycho sort of renaissance with Neptune in retrograde, because our creativity is going to feel different. Our intuition is going to feel different, and everyone is going to feel different. And we've collectively been working towards this advancement in our higher minds to raise the frequency of the collective. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to get our house in order.
Our house here and our body and our everything. It's great you're saying that to get our house in order. And for me, like we are preparing this retreat and it feels such a rebirth.
Yes.
It's like I saw a vision. I was listening to some Gene Keys, and I saw a vision actually about rebirth because my son is in the 19th, which is the sensitive, the shaman. It is also the gene key or human design gate of rebirth, of sacrificing, of actually being reborn through sacrifice, but not sacrifice. I sacrifice myself for others. I literally sacrifice my old life for my new one, which we all do. We have to do because we can't fit with our old lives through the new door. We
There's
just
no windows to look out into. No
we
windows.
just have to leave some garbage behind us. And so the rebirth felt as if us going through our belly button, through our umbilical cord, as if like turning inside out to become the new us, which is like, how does it technically work? But that's how it felt to me, like really turning inside out. So we have to first look what's inside, what stinks, what is dark, what is deteriorated, what we don't need anymore. And that's a rebirth.
Exactly. We're like cleaning house in terms of like our Mercurian energy, right? Because it's like from an astrological lens, like Mercury rules our memory, our intellect, Neptune as well, like, feeds into that memory as well. And it rules that experience, our cardinal experience of being born. So that's in our
I didn't know
Mercury.
that.
Yes, that trauma of coming through the womb and into the world, that's collected by the Mercurian energy. So once we go through this rebirth, it's very much about reconnecting ourselves back to our first primal memories. And when we talk about first primal memories, we're going back, right? We're going right back to like the beginning of our soul's time. And this is where you and I get to go in and work with you on this retreat, because we talk about the journey of your soul. And that's the most exciting part. Like, look at my cheeks, they're going to fall out
I
because
am getting short.
I know, because soul alignment, soul retrieval, energetic healings, all of these beautiful sacred tools that have been around, they have always been around, are going to be available to you. And this is like, as we said last time, this is like a soul spa, because it really is rebirthing, rejuvenating the soul, combing out the negative energy. So it's like just envisioning these beautiful white lights, all your spirit teams, your guides, everyone is showing up for you, holding space as we are just bringing down all of that negative conditioning and just giving it back to the earth and allowing your soul the opportunity to rise and to really shine. And it's just like, it's so fun.
Yeah. I mean, now I'm working so much on the energy of this retreat and envisioning and feeling and getting more and more insights of how it will work. I mean, all the Atlantean crystal pyramids and temples and the priests and priestesses are working with us. Priestesses, actually, no priests so far. But where was I going with this? Where was I going with this?
Rebirth.
Yes, I just lost my thought. Mm,
You're probably getting a download.
that's weird.
Your guides are like,
I,
no, this is what we need to
yes,
talk
I know.
about.
Oh, yes. And so this week I was channeling for somebody like his human design and came so much. And I was like, you know, most of us are getting awoken by big changes in our life, and most of them really crush us. That's how we awaken. That's how our soul chose for us to wake up, because otherwise we just wouldn't. We would be living our comfortable lives.
Ah, that's what I mean. Okay, that's what I mean about that Mercurian energy. Because with the way that the planets are shifting and the way that things are aligning, the planet's invitation and everyone's invitation on the collective is now to use their free will to walk towards conscious awakening instead of awakening through crisis. Because why hurt yourself? Everyone experiences trauma and pain, through the experiences of death, of illness, of divorce, things coming to their natural end cycles. And it's how we recover from those natural end cycles that really define our spiritual growth. Some people harden and they get angry, and it's hard to be around that when you want to move, and some people want to move and grow and evolve past that because they're tasting the fragility of life. They're like, oh my goodness, I don't have that much time here. Anything could happen. Life could change on a dime. I could be doing this today, but that's not guaranteed tomorrow. And that's the promise of living life to, self-fulfillment and spiritual growth, that you don't let all these small inconveniences take away from what you're here to do, your soul's purpose, to block you from doing what you need to do in this world. So like, this invitation is to remember that you, just by existing, your near existence is a gift all of on its own. And you don't have to go through anything bad to like go through spiritual growth. You can just make that decision from a place of your heart and knowing that you want to meet up with the higher octave and the collective with a higher vibration, because you recognize things are happening, but you don't know exactly what the purpose is, but who cares? You're just along for the ride because you know it's going to make you feel good. Yeah.
So very true. I can't agree more on the being okay with not knowing, because we
Mhm.
can't not, we
No.
cannot know. Just let that go. To know the why, to know the how, just let all of it go. Just surrender to the knowing that there will come the flow that will take us.
Yeah.
It could be that there is no flow at the moment because we have been struggling, we have been fighting the flow so much because we
Mhm.
thought we need to go there, while the flow maybe needs to go to take us completely else. And we've been fighting because we've been taught, or we thought we need to go there, and we
Mhm.
don't. Our soul wants to take us somewhere else,
Yes.
and we fight to surrender.
Yes. And we have, there's just so much importance here about not overscheduling yourself and prioritizing, right? Prioritizing, making space in your life for the magic to happen. And busy, burnt out women, you know, the men and women of this world, the architects of this world really are burning out so much because they're overscheduled and they don't have the room to look up and see the synchronicities, to look up and to feel into the coincidences and to be like, hey, that means something. Let me piece it together. You do that enough times, then you're like, okay, there's that bird on a Tuesday. It's going to happen. Then you know the language that you and the universe are sharing with each other. But there's no way that you're going to know that if you're constantly fixated on your schedule, making yourself busy, and just checking out. You have to give yourself that permission to just be not busy, to not be busy, to not be active, to allow the energy to be passive. And that's how you go with the flow. People are like, I don't know how to relax. I think that's the number one problem here that, you know what I
Doing
mean?
the shit. Stop doing the shit you don't enjoy. That's the first step to relax.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yes, we in general, once we are in the corporate career, we have no clue how to relax
No.
because we are running to yoga class, running outside.
Yeah. Oh
Tell you
my,
the truth, I I have never been to yoga.
I'm going to tell you a story.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you a story. On I'm a yoga teacher. On Saturdays, I teach yoga. And on this Saturday, when Saturn went retrograde, I was teaching a deep stretch and relaxation 1 hour. It's the same type of meditative class I teach all the time, but this time it was like my first time teaching this time slot with this group of people that come in. Two people gave me a 1-star review on the app and said I was too slow. I was too slow. And they wanted to like stretch and be in pain, and they wanted to get up and they go. They didn't want to be in they didn't want to meditate. They didn't want to know about their bodies. They didn't want to
there's
know
a
about,
gym. There's a gym behind the corner, you know?
right?
You hit the wrong door.
And old me, the older version of me, the unhealed version of me, would have really been upset at reading those reviews. I would have been like 1 star because everybody reads these reviews. Everybody goes on the app and they
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
And I was just like, they'll be back.
Life will break them. They will
Right?
be.
I was like, you know what? It's not going to hit you today, but maybe 6 months down the road, you'll be like, oh, that's what that girl was talking about. And then you'll be back because it's not my business to know when the impact hits you, right? I'm not in control of your healing. No one is in control of anything. And like when we're in burnout, when we're going through that masculine energy, I'm telling you, do you know how many people told me to meditate? Do you know how many people told me to go to yoga? And I was like, no, no, and no. I thought it was like, you couldn't say a more repulsive thing to me. I was like, those people are weird. Okay. Like people that go to yoga are weird. Like, what is the point? And I couldn't sit even like 30 seconds. I couldn't sit in a bath. Now I meditate for hours. I sit in the bath for hours. It's like, oh,
God,
it's,
give me that place to work and meditate
oh,
hours. And
but I had so much to unpack. My Mercury was like, right? There's so much to unpack. Friends, you have to be patient, okay? This is not an overnight thing. I started to find what soothed my nervous system and talking about that house and exploring the sounds of your house. Think of your sensory experience in your body. And that meditation was a beautiful invitation to wake up the sensory body, because that's how we get grounded. We tune in. What am I hearing? What am I smelling? What am I experiencing? What am I touching? Right? You check in with that meditation, and after tuning in and fine tuning your own experience to the energies around you, you really start to be able to claim, I like that voice. I like that sound. And you start to buy, you change things up. So instead of buying like, vanilla plugins, just because you want your house to smell nice, you'll switch over to, like maybe some incense, some frankincense, because hey, it was doing something for me. It was really taking me to a place of like I could actually relax. It was actual aromatherapy. And then from there, get curious, book in with people. And, even coming to the retreat, see an acupuncturist, get some Reiki treatment, start to kind of prime the body for this experience that you're going to have in November, because it's going to be like you're really going to travel that bridge of the unknown into the other realms. And there is no schedule there. There is nothing, there is no emails to check. There's no socials to keep you busy. It's just you, yourself, you and your higher self. So it's like hand in hand, meeting someone that, you've lost contact with. You're meeting someone you truly, truly love, your best friend that you haven't seen in years, and you're meeting up again and you're reconnecting and you're hugging each other on the beach. And you're just going to be so happy to meet with your higher self. It's going to be not only a remembering and not only a rebirth, but it's also going to be a reunion of some sorts, because we are helping you cultivate that connection between you and your higher self.
Yes. And it's also, reconnection with self.
Mhm.
That's we always want attention, validation, all these nice things from others. The best advice can be, once you don't get it there, get it here. Listen to yourself. Give attention to yourself. Get to know yourself. Like everything what we don't get from others is also actually a mirror to what we are not giving to ourselves. And that's painful. It's like it's so easy to request, yeah, they don't give me this, they say that, they. And once like, okay, what am I not giving to myself? It will be very similar things that we don't get from the others.
Yeah. And it
And that's shitty. That's shitty
it
to
is shitty. I'm like, wait a minute.
wait,
Oh,
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no, no,
wait.
no. It's them. It's them. It's always them. Me? No, no, no. I am the good guy here.
It is shitty. It is shitty. It is shitty when you realize, like, oh my God, do I make myself laugh? Do I compliment myself? Do I take myself on dates? Do I honor my body? Do I rest my body? Do I feed myself nourishing foods? Do I hydrate myself? Like it is, it is overwhelming when you have to do that inventory. We all have to do it, but we all start somewhere. But when you have to do that inventory of checking in with yourself, and it's a rude awakening when,
Hmm.
I'm going to cry because mine was so bad. Um, but that's okay. We all have our starting point, I remember
Yeah, we do.
I was doing my inventory and checking in, I couldn't even remember the last time I laughed. Everything, I was so rigid and serious about everything. And I remember thinking, and I think there's like a journal where there's still like stains of my tears, where I remember being like, I'm funny, right? Do people grow out of being funny? And I remember like actually it was a thing. Like I was debating it in my mind. I'm like, is funny part of a personality? I was like, did I outgrow that? I'm like, I was really funny. And it just, it really caught me off guard. And then I started asking people around me, like my sisters and my husband, I'm like, do you think I'm funny? And they're like, you used to be funny. I'm like, I used to be funny. And the fact that I grieved that part of myself really started to kind of scare me, because I'm like, I don't want to be formally known as funny. I want to always be funny. You know, it makes me feel good to laugh and to crack jokes. And I was like, I don't watch things that are funny. I don't surround myself with things that are humorous. I don't find the humor in life anymore. And that really fucked me up, really fucked me up. And I grieved that part of
That's
myself.
big. You breathing, that's huge because we are so conditioned to judge everything. This is good, this is bad. I should have not have done that. I should have done that. You know, like looking for the right solution. While grief is big,
Yeah.
that there were circumstances in your life that derailed you from you being funny, from you having joy in your life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a huge grief. That's a huge sadness that is somewhere in your body. There should be anger, you know. And before we can do all these ho'oponoponos and forgive everybody, we need to get really angry.
Yeah.
That okay, the others did to us, we did to ourselves. It doesn't matter, but to let that anger out and to grieve, to
Yeah.
be sad about how in the world could we have done this to us? How could we have allowed this to be done to us? You know, it doesn't matter who did what. After all, we allowed it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
allowed this to happen to our emotional body, to everything that we are, that we disassociated so much with us that we went into so much people pleasing and reaching the goals and all these constructs that the whole world is full of in a big marathon for out of the rat race.
Yeah.
We are still in the rat race. As long as we try to be out of it, we still are.
Oh my gosh. I just love this conversation so much. And I'm like, my heart is just popping as I'm reviewing just the things that I have been through on my journey. And I remember when I finally like started to come through this, it was maybe a year. And I was just so proud of my anger. I bought a jacket that said feminist on it, and it's like in the back. And I just would wear it to the grocery store. And like, I even did a photo shoot with my feminist jacket just to be like, yeah, I'm mad at the patriarchy because they told me my feelings were wrong. They told me I was too sensitive. They told me I needed to be part of corporate America. And I'm pissed because I used to be funny, you know?
I love that.
And it was
It's
like my,
funny.
it was like my cape. It was like my badge of honor. I'm like, I'm this feminist. And then I was like, I'm not like, and now like it's evolved. But I just needed to hang on to that label because it was protecting me and sort of like I felt swaddled by it like a baby. A baby needs to be swaddled to feel safe in the world. And we all need our own little something that we can claim for ourselves that helps us stay safe. And as we go through our revivals, we need like our tools, whether we're working with, we have candles or we have special crystals or we, start to fill our rooms up with plants that are meaningful. We all have these, badges and tokens of honor to like really materialize our journey and to show the world like, I'm part of this new energetic signature, so to speak, right? And like this retreat is an energetic signature. It is a demonstration to the world that you are in this growth journey. And yeah, it's like this beautiful rebirth. It's this token that you get to fill your whole heart up with and like just keep remembering for your lifetime. Like there's nothing more valuable than that investment that will keep paying you back over time. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not a jacket. A jacket is seasonal. It's not a crystal. A crystal, you know, it has its kind of like lifespan as well too. But like an emotional experience is for life. It's for life. And this is like the beauty of what we're doing. I'm just so excited all the time, just thinking about it.
I'm listening
Let's
to you.
all laugh together. Let's just
I'm
laugh
listening
together.
to you, and it's like the name. We had already had several names for this retreat, and now the name trickles in, the cradle of love,
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, it is.
self-love.
Yes. Oh,
Because like when when people go to the psychologist, then they ask, "Oh, remember the time when you were safe, when you were loved, and all this?" Well, what if we don't remember that time? What if that time has never been there?
yeah, that big
We will
abandonment.
create one that we will anchor into love, into softness, into compassion, into safety,
Mm-hmm.
into the flow, into the most beautiful energies that we can experience. All of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, especially for the people who are born through the C-section, they miss the experience of going through the birth channel because that's the ultimate surrender.
That's the Mercury effect. Yes. I will collect this data one day. I swear to God. And I'm not trying to cut you off, but no, your birth, how you were born, and we will talk about this during like my circles. We will definitely talk about this. The way in which you came into the world is a massive signature in your experience. I came into the world, you know my story, it was so messed up. Like I wasn't even supposed to be born. I wasn't even supposed to be like a completed pregnancy. My mom had the chicken pox when she was 4 or 5 months pregnant with me, and they told her to have an abortion because I would be born just completely disabled, and it would be a very difficult experience for my mom already having 2 children. And my mom, having been a product of abandonment, she was like, no, we don't abandon children in my family. That's what my mom does. I'm not doing that. So my mom, out of her stubborn will, I think, was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm here for it. So when I was coming into the world, my mom was weak already, and I had my umbilical cord tied around my neck. That is a spiritual signature. If you have your umbilical cord tied around your neck, that is a spiritual signature that you are meant to be like an intuitive healer in this world. We can talk about that on the retreat. So if you have that experience as well, it's very special. We can unpack
Just
it.
right.
Yeah. And when I finally was going to come into the world, because I think my mom tried to push for like 15 hours and they're like, okay, maybe we're going to give you C-section. So they went to prep the OR. And as they went to go prep the OR, I somehow came through the birth canal and came as a blue baby. So I like, they didn't think I was even alive when I came through, and they took me right away. And during a soul regressive session that I had, I went in and experienced my birth. And I saw this huge team of angels beside my mom, and my mom, being exhausted, probably in labor for 40 hours, did not close her eyes once. She just stared at the door like a wide-eyed bat, just waiting for them to bring me back in. And that's when the angels gave her my name and said, it's going to be fine. Just name her Eilyn, which means the gift of light. And I came back in, but I had some issues. I'm blind in my left eye because of it. And you and I talk about that a lot. But the story of your birth and the story of your conception, so much of it has to do with that Mercurian energy of your will to ascend into higher levels of intelligence that you came into this world with. So we will get into that into the retreat. Let's not unpack it here. But how you come through the birth canal, C-section babies, it's so, so, so important because your access to your spiritual lineage does connect to those birth portals 100%.
There was so much coming through while you were talking. I just don't know. Start. The first off, my nose is running. If you ever are looking for the way or the reason to forgive your mother, think back to that.
Yeah.
It's not just, like all of us should be grateful for our life, but your mother's decision to keep you is so much more difficult, and she took it.
Yeah.
That's right there. That's your taproot into the ancestry.
Mhm.
Your taproot into the strength of a woman with her full being, choosing for the child that everybody expects will be a big burden. It's such a strong story. Another thing, you having the umbilical cord around your head, that's a crown. It's like Jesus' crown, it's like like light being's crown. And blue is Shiva. For me, Shiva is blue. Like my friend from India, she always says, yeah, you have Shiva's energy. Of course you have that. So saying that to you.
Yeah, I see Shiva a lot in my meditation. Um, I have a deep fear of water as a Pisces. I don't know if you have a fear of water. You have a lot of water in your chart. You have a grand trine in water. Um, but yeah, I have a deep, deep, deep phobia of water. I like to sit in front of water. I like to look at water. I do not swim in the ocean. Absolutely no, full stop, not doing it. Um,
And that's to find out in your chart. I am the
it's
same about water, the same you. The way you explain, that's how I am with water.
yeah, we know what water can do. I know, I like, and that element is so strong. Like water, like we live in water world. We live in water world, right? Somehow, like we think of Earth as being like mountains and land. No, we live on water world. It's like what, 70, 80% water. So is our bodies. Our own constitution is more water than anything, right?
Yeah.
And getting into the depth of all of that, a lot of people don't trickle in. You know, a lot of people don't do that. I think my fear and my phobias of water, you know, we've talked about this like past life experience where I was thrown over a cliff and I was thrown into the ocean, but I didn't drown. I survived. And then also having this, you know, experience in growing in a neo environment where my mom was fighting an illness, you know, so there was a lot of constricting all the time. I had a lot of anxiety for a big part of my life. And I think all that comes from that, those imprintings in the DNA, right?
Yes, a lot. Wow.
Never a light day around here.
Yeah, but like what you are telling about the water is completely the same for me. Just the difference is that um a friend was doing a past life regression. Well, actually, she was doing the energy session, but then it goes where it goes, and it went to my past life were me, I was pregnant. My mother and father were in the boat, and they were taking me to throw out of the boat. And they did, because I was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
That I was shame to the family. Yeah, I'm getting shivers as I'm telling that. But so that is within me. And I have fear of heights. But when
Same.
I was in the ocean, like snorkeling, and there was a like coral reef, I got the same feeling like here it's not like not deep, and then you go here and it's like immediately deep. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like it's really like the heart goes like that.
Yeah. We have a memory for being in certain elements, right? I think even for some people, they might experience that tension if they're in a forest and in a past life something happened to them and maybe they succumb to injury or something happened to them in the forest. Then they'll be like, I don't step 1 foot on a nature hike. I won't do it. These sort of very real phobias and past life experiences are showing up constantly in our current reality in this time and space. And that's why, bringing it back to our goal of like decentralizing trauma and to make you whole and to give you a deep level of conscious awareness. We're totally going to be talking about, these past life experiences and how they do end up like forming the phobias and traumas that you walk with. Because once you're able to connect a story to it, you can trust your soul's journey of evolution. You can be like, okay, my soul is continuously evolving. I'm not just like this static thing here that like, oh, one day I'm awake and then one day I go. It's the continual journey of the soul. From here, there's another evolution, right? So it's good that we're talking about it and that we know that it's our truth, because like exploring it and testing it is what we're here to do in this lifetime. Will I go shark diving? I don't know.
Not yet.
Well,
You'll stay on the
well,
boat. You go there, and I will observe you.
will I face these fears alongside of, our group in Tulum? Maybe, maybe we'll all just run into the beach naked one day. I don't know. I don't know how we'll face this. The time might, the door might be there, it might not.
Yeah.
But we're all in this together. We're all in this together. I'm going through, my life experiences, my alchemization. So are you. You're going through it as well. We might have to run hand in hand into the ocean just to prove a
Well,
point.
well.
And
Yes.
we know that through the ocean life passes, through the water life travels. So my difficult experience coming into this world, your experience coming into this world, our first memory of water was not positive, right? Our first experience with that element was not positive. So we kind of hold resentment against water. And but now,
Frozen, you
hmm?
know, it's like frozen. It's like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
different structure of the same element.
Exactly, because we can exist here as healers, but we're also human. So we also have parts of our constitution that, are ice cubes and glaciers, that we're still working through that process. And we don't know if our soul is here in this lifetime to resolve those contracts. We don't know that.
No, we do our best.
We do our best. We do our
I mean, it's not like, oh, this is the what you should complete in the lifetime. We'll see how far we come.
we'll see how it goes. We'll negotiate.
It's like there are so many lifetimes to come, and so many are in the past. Yeah, we are getting somewhere.
But we know we're here to do this work. We know we're here to do this work and to help you move your elemental experiences through this world as well, through your intellect, your air, your water, your emotional body, your fires, your passions, your drive, your courage, your stamina, your intuition, and and your earth, your focus, your pragmatic nature, your ability to do these things, your ability to, balance both sides of you, the practical and the spiritual side. So, and to give you those tools to be in ritual, right? Because ritual comes from earth energy, and, you're definitely going to be guiding us through all of that. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yes, and it's like when I was telling about how the souls awaken, that they awaken through going through big traumas, big loss in like losing a person or losing your health or whatever we are, life is crushing us, we awaken. And then there we come.
Yeah.
Because I mean, once you are crushed, it's like you are crushed, you are ready to awaken, but you are not there yet. It's like all is burned, all is damaged, all, non-existing in the whole, the one you know. So there was life before the crush, and now you are there
Yeah.
trying to build the life after. And that's where we come, because my mission here is to let the soul's rebirth. That's very much how I feel. And rebirth or birth process, we are keep coming back to birth and to cradle and to all. I mean,
We're in
we
Cancer season. We're in
we
Cancer
see
season.
the
It's
movies,
all about birth.
in the movies we only see push, push, push. And that's how the whole world is doing. Push, push, push.
Earth energy. Go, go, go.
With
Do, 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 do. Yeah.
fire. If a woman has given birth, there is a contraction that it feels like a big muscle tension, and there is the time in between, and time in between is way bigger than the contraction itself, especially in the beginning, because contractions are getting closer to each other. But the way we have been living the last 50 years, it's in the contraction is the
Yeah.
pushing. There is no release, there is no uh, time to relax, to let go. That's why we don't know how to let go.
Yeah.
We can't birth anything from pushing for 50 years.
Yeah.
How we did ourselves, how our parents did, how the whole world is doing. Setting the goals, going there, all that. Forget all that. For that 1 week, when we'll be in Tulum or wherever place we'll find, we will not be pushing.
Mhm.
We will be preparing our bodies for push sometime later, whenever that will feel. And if that will feel 3 years later, that's good too.
Mhm.
Because we have been pushing for so long. We have burned our bodies, we've burned our brain, our emotions, everything. So first we need to stop. We need to stop and feel. And that's, I mean, even the baby, when it prepares to be born, it takes 9 months
Mhm.
from zero to grow to something, to get out of there. Once we have burnout or whatever the reason for awakening is, we've been crushed and we have to rebuild ourselves. We have to sort out what doesn't belong anymore for our future. But it's like there's also so much of confusion, so much of loneliness, because often we don't know anybody who has been gone through that, or especially if that's a burnout. Oh yeah, we know that one has been in burnout. Half a year later, she got working again. Then 3 years later, she got another burnout. And yeah, it's like, sounds like a loser, that's how society takes these burnouts. Well,
Yeah.
burnout is just the sign you are not on your path. Drop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And they like the assumptions are so strong, and the shame and the judgment is so strong that even if a woman is going through burnout, sometimes there's no conscious awareness that there is an option to step away because there's so much fear of the life that they've created, even though that life is not stable, that it's going to fall apart. And it's already fallen apart. It's okay. You're not going to be putting the pieces back the exact same way because it's just going to
Because
fall
they
apart
didn't think
over again.
there was a reason why it was crushed.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Because it
house.
was not holding the energy and the energetics were not there anymore. It's like we are pushing from like the matter from material point of view because we have to push, but
Yeah.
it's empty. There is nothing that holds it together.
Yeah.
To
Exactly.
hold it together has to put the new seed. And we want to know, okay, so this is not working. Where do I have to go now? Well,
Yeah.
how about taking a pause?
And allowing your cup to get filled and get that nourishment and be in the safety of other women who are also going through that shared experience. And there's something so powerful when you find people that can resonate with what you're going through on an energetic level, because there's no fight to try to relate to each other. And that's what we're making a very conscious effort to do, is to call in these women from whichever walks of life you are on that can resonate with each other and understand and have mutual respect for each other's individual experiences. Because, my burnout is not going to look like the next person's burnout, and so on and so forth. And that's not the point. The point is that fuck, it hurt. It hurt. It hurts to go through it. It
And it takes
hurt.
bravery to go through it,
Yeah.
to
It
look
hurt.
at your shit.
Yeah. Because it's not just burnout. It's not just lack of efficacy. It's not just poor management. It's not just the company. It's okay, you know what? There's a long route here that traces itself all the way back,
All the way
all the way,
to the
all the
creator.
way back. And it manifested here. So we have burnout, this word, this word out there in the lexicon of pop culture that we can connect to this emotional feeling. But you and I know that it's beyond, it is beyond. And that root goes all the way back, all the way back. And we
We
know
need to
that.
trace that. Where
Yeah.
does it come from?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will just be doing trying to mask the symptoms or heal the symptom. You can't heal the symptoms.
It's the umbilical
The
cord.
shit is back there.
I mean, I was born with all my trauma wrapped around myself, and I lived it. I played it out here in this world. It was my job to take that cord and release myself from the burdens of my ancestry.
And
That
that's
was
scary.
that was my job. That's what I came here to do. Not to be a legal professional. That was my mask. I came in here. My first assignment in this world was already given to me the moment I was born. My job was to take that ancestral pressure off of myself and cut my cord. And that was my first act in this world.
We will be cutting a lot of cords.
Many bring my shears. No, I'm just kidding. But
Ooh.
yeah, lots of cord cutting for sure. Okay. I wanted to bring up, that's a big one, eh? I wanted to bring up this conversation that I had with my children yesterday. My daughter's about to turn 7. She is a Cancer with a Sagittarius moon, and my son is 12. He's a Taurus sun with a Libra moon. And this is how they each took this question. I said to my daughter first, without my son being there, I said, you know what, Audie, do you think that you have to share in friendship? Like, is it necessary? Do friends have to share? She did not even waste any time. And she said, I love to share with my friends. And I was like, oh, okay. And she said, I thought she was going to say, I share my snacks. And no, she said, I share my smile, I share my talents, and I share my hugs with my friends.
God. Oh my God, what an angel.
Really, truly, truly an
What a
angel
light worker.
because she's speaking straight from the heart,
Straight from the heart.
right? Like,
She's truly, truly sharing what's the most precious and what we adults have forgotten it even exists.
exactly. People don't smile at each other anymore. You walk by
Weird.
someone, walk by a
It's
stranger, if you
weird to
smile,
smile, right?
I
They
smile
will
at
see
everybody.
something.
I smile at everyone and they're like, what the fuck's her problem? I'm like, I love you. I am so that yoga teacher that stands at the door and I'm like, welcome. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. To everyone. I greet every single person that comes through that door. And some people love it. Other people are like, I'm just coming in to do my
Oh,
thing.
dude.
Like, oh God, the yoga teacher talked to me. Oh, you know? Okay. And then my son, the Taurus, he comes over and I ask him the same question. Doesn't spend any time thinking about it. And he goes, no, you don't have to share. Me and my friends don't share with each other, and it's better that way. Just straight up.
You love it? My goodness.
Why? Why is it better that way? Well, because we all like our own things, and like some people don't want to share because other people aren't going to like their own things. So people don't fight. So he's very individualistic and respectful that people like their own things. So he sees sharing as like kind of like I have to give you something of mine even though you don't like it, you have to take it sort of thing. Or I have to take something of yours even though I don't want it. And he did demonstrate this. Okay, him and his friend have the same birthday, May 4th. So it's always a race every year who brings their invitations to the school fastest, right? Because whoever gets the invitations out first, that person, that friend group is going to that party. So this year, the one friend got the invitations out before Julian. He invited Julian, he gave him an invitation. My son, without batting an eye, goes, I don't need that. And he gave him the invitation right back. And I was like, when I heard this, my jaw was on the ground and I was like, what gives you the audacity to be so rude, Julian? Oh my God. And he goes, that's not being rude, mom. I'm not wasting his time. I'm not going. It's my birthday too. So I told him to give the invitation to someone else. I'm like, oh my God, that behavior didn't exist when I was in school, ever. You were waiting to get invited to go somewhere because it's like, it's your invitation. You're in. I have a son who's rejecting them. He's like, I'd rather be alone on my birthday than to show up at someone else's birthday on my birthday. No. And I'm like, oh my God, my kids are so funny. They're
Well,
both right. They're both right in their own way. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell them. I'm like, yeah, keep doing you. It was great.
but you should be so proud of being their mother, that they dare to be whatever they are. They
Yeah.
dare to just completely react from their heart.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's so beautiful. And we as adults, we have forgotten all these things that your children just take it as natural. Of
I
course, I share. That's my treasure. That's my talent. That's my smile that makes people happy. Or, of course, I don't. Why would I? All these expectations, I give you this, you give me that. No, what if you don't give me back? They are
I
free
know.
from.
I know. I know.
And us, especially as women, we are so like, if someone would ask you that question or me, we would go, oh yeah, what if I don't want to give? What if this? What if that? It's like, wait, before I will give you the answer, I still have to measure how that will sound from social
It's
accept.
calculated. It's calculated for sure. Absolutely. And I think, asking ourselves how we feel about our sense of sharing is sort of an awakening to how much permission we give ourselves to put boundaries in place, right? Odessa, with that big, kind heart that she has, she is going to smile at the wrong person at one day, and they are going to hurt her feelings, you know? So there will be lessons there for her and her big emotional energy. Of course, she's a Cancer. And my son, he's going to learn it the other way, where he's going to have to learn to smile at people, to create relationship, to invite that door of friendship. So they both need each other in this world because they're just so opposite in their approaches to things. Odessa is the water and Julian is the earth. And right now they're muddy. They're muddy with each other. They fight a lot because they're so positional on their own strengths. But here on earth, here on earth, we blend the two. We blend the water and we blend the earth. And it's really about those boundaries. The water, when it doesn't know its boundaries, what happens? Hurricanes, tsunamis, storms, lightning, right? When weather gets out of control. That's the same thing with emotions. When Earth is not acting proper, we get droughts, we get sandstorms, right? So there's so many different things. And like both those elements need to, like we operate, humans function and depend on the elements being in balance with their boundaries.
You explain it so beautifully. I never thought of it that way. I love it.
Well, we don't want the ocean to come inland, right? It will hurt people.
Hmm.
Boundaries.
A big
Boundaries.
flood.
Boundaries, ocean boundaries. Okay, I wanted to leave that. I'm so excited. I can't wait for our next chat. We're going to be dropping more information of the retreat. We're pulling things together. And I hope you're enjoying these conversations and really getting something out of it. Because even if you don't join us, you can follow us in our respective communities. You can follow me at Energetic Insights and Ausra. You want to share your socials?
Yes, and search for me on Instagram.
We're
And
often
I'm pretty sure that to a lot of you, a lot of things will be like, oh, yes, this. Oh, that feels like home. Oh, really? That too, because our intuition is there. Just the thing is, we don't listen to it most of the time. But once we hear from other people, it's like, oh, yeah, I've
sharing.
experienced that too. Or I have been seeing that, it's like the more you see, the more you hear, the more you feel at home with the energies.
Yeah, and those synchronicities just start to line up themselves right in front of you instead of something being, oh, every 6 months, it's like, oh, every day, there it is. Oh, I love it. And then you feel so cozy, cozy in the womb of the universe.
Yes. The womb is supposed to feel cozy and safe. And it's not always the case,
Oh,
but we'll talk about it in
we'll
the
talk
next
about it.
or next or whatever.
For our next one, thank you so much for our awesome conversation. I'm going to stop the recording here.